In New York this week, the term Twin Towers has taken on a new meaning. 14 feet of basketball brilliance intent on denying this city an NBA title. David Robinson. He's worked his entire professional career for an NBA championship. A championship that now may be only hours away. Tim Duncan is in just his second NBA season. But without him, there could be no ring for Robinson. Duncan has accepted that responsibility and is determined to get his running mate the prize he covets most. But if Duncan is to lead the charge toward a title for the Admiral, he'll need all hands on deck against a Knick team that has shown it will fight to the last. Tonight at Madison Square Garden, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and the San Antonio Spurs seek their crowning achievement. Game 5 next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1999 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 5, the San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks.
In New York, they still believe, but no team has ever come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the finals. No team has ever won Games 6 and 7 of the finals on the road. On the other hand, David Robinson and the Spurs have closed out their 3 previous playoff series away from home. And odds are they'll do it again tonight if Tim Duncan scores 28 points and pulls in 18 rebounds as he did in Game 4. The Knicks will need a big performance again from Latrell Sprewell, averaging 24 a game in the series. Marcus Camby, 20 points and 13 rebounds in Game 4. Camby says that the Knicks are better than the Spurs. Well, they were when Allen Houston scored 34 points. In the other 3 games, when he scored 19 or 20, the Spurs prevailed to bring them to the brink of their first NBA championship. Welcome to Madison Square Garden for Game 5 with Doug Collins. I'm Bob Costas. The San Antonio Spurs are heading home after tonight's game. The question is, do the New York Knicks go with them? Or is the only thing they take back from New York the championship trophy?
Well, Bob, when you talk about San Antonio, we know that their offense goes through Tim Duncan and David Robinson. But it's really been the play of their supporting cast that's been the difference. In Game 1, Jaren Jackson, 5 threes, 17 points. In Game 2, it was Mario Elie with his beautiful drive and dunk, and he had 15. And then in Game 4, their little leader, Avery Johnson, the little running hook, 14 points and 10 assists. And sort of the forgotten man offensively, Sean Elliott, he had 14 and 4. And when the supporting cast plays well, they win. Duncan and Robinson's numbers have been very consistent. 41 points and up through this series, but you see the number there on the right of the graph, 39, 36, and 48. The supporting cast, when they have scored well, they've won. 23 points in the loss. So if the supporting cast comes through once again tonight, I think that trophy will be going back to San Antonio.
When you speak of the Knicks, though, you have to admire them. This is a strange team. It's a flawed team. But to a man, the Spurs say, look, our opponent is undermanned. They're hurt. They're without Patrick Ewing. They're outsized. But they fight us to the final buzzer. And even if he's wrong, you got to like Marcus Camby, who says we're still better than they are, even after they've beaten them 3 out of 4. So if they go tonight, especially in their building, they won't go quietly.
No, Bob, but what they're going to have to do, they're going to have to penetrate that Spurs defense. They got off to a slow start in the first quarter. 9 shot blocks in the game, and after the first quarter, the New York Knicks shot only 35%. The block by Duncan. Allen Houston with the post up, the block by Robinson. Sprewell to the basket again. Here comes Tim Duncan once again. And watch the defense on this possession. Allen Houston is driven in to 3 San Antonio defenders. They swing the ball to the weak side. The great rotation. And it's going to be driven into 3 defenders here once again. Camby looks like he's got a shot. He passed it off to Larry Johnson and the shot block. New York must play from ahead. They got off to a slow start. Midway through the second period, San Antonio took the lead. They never recovered. Bob, if you're going to look for some keys tonight, it's going to be rebounding. They got pounded on the boards. And more importantly, Jeff Van Gundy says when Larry Johnson scores, we win. They're going to need an effort from him tonight.
Now back to the Spurs. David Robinson has waited a decade for this. But maybe it's a little bit like Christmas. The year may fly by. You get to Christmas Eve, and it seems like it takes forever for Christmas morning to arrive. David Robinson is now 1 victory away, and he can taste it.
get to one, you're thinking this is a great opportunity. We got to come out and play our best game of the series, the best game of the playoffs, and if we're able to do that, then we can win this whole thing.
Game 5 is only minutes away. We'll step aside for a moment. When we return to Madison Square Garden, we'll turn things over to Hannah Storm and the Showtime crew.
NBA Showtime is brought to you by Lamisil AT, the best way to cure athlete's foot fast so it won't come back.
Hi, everybody. Hannah Storm back at Madison Square Garden along with Isaiah Thomas, Peter Vesey, and Bill Walton. We'll hear from these guys in just a moment. But first, the remarkable run of the San Antonio Spurs. This is a team which started the season at 6-8 but did not panic. Since then, they've gone 45-7, including the playoffs. Just a few weeks into the season, newcomer Mario Elie said some things that fired up his teammates.
This is the first team I've been on where, after 9 games, I think I may have got one chest bump. These guys are really not emotional guys.
If you're waiting for David to show a lot of emotion, you're going to have a long wait.
It seems to puzzle me why you can't get emotional out there. Guys are talking bad about you. Guys are being physical with you, retaliate.
Mario's the kind of guy who's going to say what's on his mind, and I don't have a problem with that as long as he brings his A game. If he ain't playing, he better shut his mouth up,
I knew what he was trying to do, but I play my game. I think I play as hard as anybody out there on the floor. And just because I don't go waving arms and stuff doesn't mean I don't have any fire.
At some point after that, we decided we were going to come together and play together. And, Mario didn't know us that well at that time. He's saying what he thinks he needs to say. But now he knows us a lot better after a season of playing with us. And we found a nice combination, and I think he likes playing with us.
3 down, 1 to go. The Spurs will take a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals.
Mario Elie was voicing the perception people have had about the Spurs for years, that this is a soft basketball team. And he wasn't just talking about David Robinson, but Sean Elliott as well, Peter.
Exactly. Those are the 2 guys that he was targeting. What Mario was trying to do was take what he learned from Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler when they were winning 2 championships together in Houston, and apply that championship peer pressure on his new teammates. Now, only teammates can get away with that kind of tough talk, Hannah. A coach could never get away with telling Robinson and Elliott that we need more from you guys. What you're giving us is not enough.
No one's ever accused the New York Knicks of being soft, and the only game they've won in the finals, Isaiah, they had a decided edge from the free throw line, but then the Spurs came back and made a key adjustment in Game 4.
Yeah, Hannah, the subtle adjustments in playoff basketball. In Game 3, Allen Houston was able to get to the foul line 12 times. So what does Greg Popovich do? He puts a taller Sean Elliott on Allen Houston, forcing him into jump shots, forcing him away from the basket. Allen Houston was only able to get to the foul line 7 times. Now the Knicks are only shooting 38% from the field, so it's imperative that they get to the foul line more than the Spurs.
Can the Knicks win tonight, Bill?
Absolutely, Hannah, because while San Antonio is busy icing down the champagne instead of their knees, the biggest test tonight will be of the Knicks' pride and their spirit. Of course, a little bit of pregame preparation and attention to detail certainly wouldn't hurt. In Game 4, New York allowed virtually every Spur to play their game. Avery Johnson still left-handed. He promises to be so again tonight. With New York forced to play small against Tim Duncan, defensive position is more important than athleticism and luck. Basketball is such a simple game. Unless, though, you can stop somebody, unless you get superstar production, and unless you can play with an intelligent and a plan out there, what virtually seems so tantalizingly close is so very, very far away, Peter.
You're not going to believe this, Bill, but I disagree with you. The Spurs have too much respect for the Knicks. There's no way that they'll look beyond tonight's game.
Peter, the Spurs are only 1 injury away from disaster. I remember in '88 when I was with the Pistons playing against the Lakers, I sprained my ankle in Game 6, and we end up losing Game 7. So they should try to put this one away tonight.
Yeah, but you only had 43 points in Game 6 on that ballooned ankle.
And 25 in 1 quarter, still a finals record.
I'm still hot, Hannah.
It's the final game of the season.